in order to initiate them early in all the depths of practice, and render them more dexterous in the mechanical part of business. A few instances of particular persons, men of excellent learning and unblemished integrity, who in spite of this method of education have shone in the foremost ranks of the bar, have afforded some kind of sanction to this illiberal path to the profession, and biased many parents of short-sighted judgment in its favour, not considering that there are some geniuses formed to overcome all disadvantages, and that from such particular instances no general rules can be formed, nor observing that those very persons have frequently recommended by the most forcible of all examples the disposal of their own offspring, a very different foundation of legal studies, a regular academical education. Perhaps, too, in return, I could now direct their eyes to our principal seats of justice, and suggest a few hints in favour of university learning. But in these, all who hear me, I know, have already prevented me. Many therefore due allowance for one or two shining exceptions. Experience may teach us to foretell that a lawyer thus educated to the bar, in subservience to attorneys and solicitors, will find he has begun at the wrong end. If practice be the whole he is taught, practice must also be the whole he will ever know. If he be uninstructed in the elements and first principles upon which the rules of practice is founded, the least variation from established precedents will totally distract and bewilder him. Ita lex scripta est is the utmost his knowledge will arrive at. He must never aspire to form, and seldom expect to comprehend, any arguments drawn a priori, from the spirit of the laws and the natural foundations of justice. Nor is this all, for, as few persons of birth or fortune, or even of scholastic education, will submit to the drudgery of servitude and the manual labour of copying the trash of an office, should this infatuation prevail to any considerable degree, we must rarely expect to see a gentleman of distinction or learning at the bar, and what the consequence may be, to have the interpretation and enforcement of the laws, which include the entire disposal of our properties, liberties, and lives, fall wholly into the hands of obscure or illiberal men, is matter of very public concern. The inconveniences here pointed out can never be eventually prevented, but by making academical education a previous step to the profession of the common law, and at the same time making the rudiments of the law a part of academical education. For sciences are of a sociable disposition, and flourish best in the neighbourhood of each other, nor is there any branch of learning but may be helped and improved by assistances drawn from other arts. If therefore the student in our laws hath formed both his sentiments and style by perusal and imitation of the purest classical writers, among whom the historians and orators will best deserve his regard, if he can reason with precision, and separate argument from fallacy, by the clear simple rules of pure unsophisticated logic, if he can fix his attention, and steadily pursue truth through any the most intricate deduction, by the use of mathematical demonstrations, if he has enlarged his conceptions of nature and art, by a view of the several branches of genuine experimental philosophy, if he has impressed on his mind the sound maxims of the law of nature, the best and most authentic foundation of human laws, if lastly he has contemplated those maxims reduced to a practical system in the laws of imperial Rome, if he has done this or any part of it, though all may be easily done under as able instructors as ever graced any seats of learning, a student thus qualified may enter upon the study of the law with incredible advantage and reputation. And if, at the conclusion, or during the acquisition of these accomplishments, he will afford himself here a year or two's farther leisure, to lay the foundation of his future labours in a solid scientifical method, without thrusting too early to attend that practice which it is impossible he should rightly comprehend. He will afterwards proceed with the greatest ease, and will unfold the most intricate points with an intuitive rapidity and clearness. I shall not insist upon such motives as might be drawn from principles of economy, and are applicable to particulars only. I reason upon more general topics, and therefore to the qualities of the head, which I have just enumerated. I cannot but add those of the heart, affectionate loyalty to the king, a zeal for liberty and the constitution, a sense of real honour, and well-grounded principles of religion, as necessary to form a truly valuable English lawyer, a Hyde, a Hale, or a Talbot, and, whatever the ignorance of some, or unkindness of others, may have heretofore untruly suggested, experience will warrant us to affirm that these endowments of loyalty and public spirit, of honour and religion, are nowhere to be found in more high perfection than the two universities of this kingdom. Before I conclude, it may perhaps be expected that I lay before you a short and general account of the method I propose to follow, in endeavouring to execute the trust you have been pleased to repose in my hands. And in these solemn lectures, which are ordained to be read at the entrance of every term, more perhaps to the public honour of this laudable institution than for the private instruction of individuals, I presume it will best answer the intent of our benefactor and the expectation of this learned body, if I attempt to illustrate at times such detached titles of the law, as are the most easy to be understood, and most capable of historical or critical ornament. But in reading the complete course, which is annually consigned to my care, a more regular method will be necessary, and, till a better is proposed, I shall take the liberty to follow the same that I have already submitted to the public, to fill up and finish that outline with propriety and correctness, and to render the whole intelligible to the uninformed minds of beginners, whom we are too apt to suppose acquaintance with terms and ideas, which they never had opportunity to learn. This must be my ardent endeavour, though by no means my promise to accomplish. You will permit me, however, very briefly to describe, rather, what I conceive an academical expounder of the law should do, than what I have ever known to be done.